on his Burnley debut. Oh, what a goal from Josh Brownhill. His first goal for Burnley. The Clarets are on fire. On in turn for Cullen, looking for Brownhill again. Oh, helps it on. Big chance here for Tower. Can he get the cross in? He can. Rodriguez doing that. Burnley lead. It's Coutinho at the back post. It's Burnley Banana. 1-0 Clarets.
How are we all? Welcome back to Turf Moor House TV, and let's just say it has been a month, hasn't it? It's been madness. Life has been mad. Like I say, it's been half a year since I lost my dad, which is still a bitter, pill to swallow, as you can probably all understand. Started a job. Life just took this weird turn of events, and obviously I've got to try and find some rhythm. So it does feel weird getting back into the swing of this, but we will get there. We'll get there in our dribs and drabs, and I appreciate everyone who is sticking by us. So please do stick by us, because we are going to be back. We are going to be doing stuff. We are going to be doing watch-alongs, etc. But I'm just going to have to roll with the punches and see what the times throw out. However, how are you all? We are speaking literally after getting our first 3 points in the Premier League season. What sort of game was that Luton game, by the way? I mean, I was in work, so I was listening to the end of it through Claret's Player. And the sheer madness of, I said, it won't surprise me, we'll end up conceding late on. And I were effing and jeffing. I won't lie. And then within a matter of seconds, I've gone from feeling deflated to elated. When even I think even Phil Bird was quite shocked at the fact of how quick Burnley responded. But it was a very good win, a very fantastic win against the side who clearly got their first 3 points as well against our former gaffer and the Burnley B team, that is Everton, who we've obviously got in the cup coming up in I think beginning of next month, is it? On a Wednesday. But as I say, hope everyone is all right. Hope everyone's had a good month, whatever you've done, whatever you've been up to. Like I say, life continues no matter what changes. Lyle Foster's been bagging. That's always a good thing as well, isn't it? Obviously, it was banned, but back now for the Luton game, and obviously he should be. Well, he'll definitely be facing Chelsea, which is what we're here for. We're here for the match preview. It is Burnley versus Chelsea, and we do have a Chelsea fan joining us very, very soon. Alex should be joining us from the Chelsea FC or ChelseaFanTV YouTube channel. So look forward to talking all things opposition. As I say, hope everybody else is well in the chat. Please let us know how you are doing, and it's just nice to see you all in. So I do appreciate it. Let's have a look through your comments then. Starting with Mac. Mac is in the building. He's back, rolling with the punches, and says, "Good evening, one and all." He's back, is Dan. Yes, it's good to be back, mate. It is very, very good to be back. Luton was a crazy game, but 3 points is all that matters. And yeah, couldn't put it any better myself. Colin, hope you are well. Look after your good self. Linda, hope everything is good with you. Martin, how are we, pal? Hope things are going good with yourself. But yes, things are on the up for me, I think, at the moment. Don't want to jinx it, but let's just hope for the best. And cheers, Luke. Cheers, Luke. Although we were robbed of 3 points against Forest, and you know it. You know it. You bloody know it. But Alex is here. So let's bring him in. Without further ado, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Alex, how you doing?
Good to see you, buddy. Good to be on the channel, mate. Honestly, man, it's nice to have new people. Obviously, when you come up and when teams go down, switch it up. So it's nice. And never heard of the channel, but it looks good, man. So keep doing what you're doing.
I'm trying. I'm just a baby, to be fair, in terms of it all. But I've started to make little adjustments. I were running off my phone at one point, and
Oh,
now
what
I'm
for the
doing it.
streams?
Yeah. I was streaming through my phone. All my edits are done through my phone and everything. So
Fair
I
play,
just
fair play.
I just mess about. I knocked these up last minute. I thought I'll change it up, come back with a bit of a rebrand and see how it goes. But not how's things with you, mate? How are you? How are you doing?
Well, I mean, personally, yeah, it's all good, man. With Chelsea, you know, well, everyone knows what it's like with Chelsea. We're up and down, aren't we? We're 1 minute we're great, 1 minute we're actually no, 1 minute we're great, 10 every other minute we're a bit shy, to be honest with you. But recently we've been good, man. We've been really, really good. And against Fulham, that is the first time, I'm not even joking, in about a year, maybe it's got to be a year, hasn't it? It's the first time I've seen Chelsea play as a team really, really well in a year. So, I mean, I have to feel bad for you guys because you're playing us at the worst time. We finally, something's clicked. I don't know what it is. Mudrich, something's there that just wasn't. And I think, you know, we were so frustrated at the beginning of the season. I'm speaking on behalf of most Chelsea fans. I would say that I'm one of the I'm a little bit more relaxed. I'm more patient. I do believe in the process. I think in modern day football, you have to. I think 20 years ago, you could buy your way to the top because there was only 2 or 3 teams to compete with. It's just not the same anymore. So, you know, when we were dropping points at the beginning of the season, you say, okay, but we are giving Mudrich a run of games. We are playing a 4 at the back, which is what everyone's been asking for. We've got a brand new goalkeeper, a brand new manager. Everything's new. It's literally the process that we were talking about last season, except with people who actually want to be here. You know, so I don't even look at this as our second rebuild. This is year 1.
Of course.
You know,
of course it is.
I mean, I have to say, mate, I'm just chuffed at the moment that we're in a place where we can feel hopeful because we haven't felt like that for a long time. And if I was speaking to you 6 months ago, I would have predicted Burnley to win this game comfortably. But I'm in a position now where I really think that, to be honest with you, I think we're going to be fine. I can't see you causing us any problems based on the fact that I know you're going to try and play football, and I think that that's going to work against you. You know, when you come to Turf Moor, you don't really think of this whole tiki-taka possession based.
Do you balls?
In the back.
Do you balls?
I mean, mate, I miss Sean Dyche. I still wish he was there. To be fair, I feel like he's a Burnley man, isn't he? But
he's a shithouse like the rest of us. It's a strange one because, like I say, you said it then as well yourself that Chelsea's just have now found this knack. I mean, against Fulham, that opening half hour, I thought, oh, you know, Chelsea on Saturday could look like they're going to be in for a really tough fixture. I thought Fulham started the brighter, but then it was almost like the game just switched. Like I say, as soon as that first goal went in, it was like, right, that's it. We're in the driving seat. I mean, first and foremost, let's go from the top. Let's speak about the man that's dividing opinions, Todd Bowley. I mean, I can see from your channel as well that obviously you met the man. He's told people to subscribe to the channel and things. I mean, your thoughts on him as a chairman. A lot of people from outside probably think, does this guy even know football? Is he just come in and gone, right, here's a X amount of money? How do you see it as an actual Chelsea fan? What's your beliefs about Ted Bowley?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Todd Bowley has no idea about football. And that's not like a personal attack on Todd Bowley. He is just clueless about football. Like everyone knows it. Chelsea fans know it. But this is where I don't have a problem with it because he's taken a step back, right? And now he's dealing with the more commercial side of things, the business side of things. And we've got Egg Barley, one of the other shareholders of the club. He's managing transfers more so. So obviously we've got our advisors, Paul with Stanley and Lawrence Stewart, all of them. But I mean, the owners want to be involved, and I can't criticize that. I can't, because I'd rather have an owner who wants to get involved and wants to improve the club and be there while it's happening, rather than owners like the Glazers, you know, who ultimately don't invest anything, and they're not willing to even level up the facilities to increase the value of the club. I mean, they don't want anything to do with putting money into that club. Whereas with us, you know, they're throwing money at everything. They're throwing money at Cobham, the training facilities. They built a bigger changing room last season because our squad was too big. Signing lots of young players, taking massive risks, and ultimately very, very good with the fans the majority of the time. Now,
Were you with it before the takeover though? Like, I mean, obviously when all the, you know, that patch between Abramovich sort of, you know, going out of the club, and then like who's coming in, who's taking over, you know, where do we go from here? Was there a hint of fear in there as a fan?
Oh, of course. I mean, everyone was outraged. Like nobody wanted Abramovich to go. I didn't want Abramovich to go. But I will say this, and you know, we were slowly declining under Abramovich anyway. We were still picking up a lot of European trophies, and we were a great cup side. We won the Champions League, you know, Super Cup, Club World Cup, all these trophies within a short space. But our league form was dipping since 2017. And it's never really picked up since. So we always knew that at some point we had to rebuild and look at the process, the long term. But I don't think Abramovich was the man to do that, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that when you've run a club for 20 years a certain way and you've been so successful with it, why would you change it, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Whereas what Bowley's coming
Are you listening, VAR? Are you listening?
I mean, what Bowley's come in and do is just changed everything. I mean, you look at the club now; everything's different. So there's a lot of positives from it in the fact that we have rebranded ourselves as a club, and you know, I guess we're probably going to be more commercialized in America and generate more revenue for players and blah blah. But you know, as a match day fan, I think the experience is going to be worse. You know, we're going to be paying more for tickets. Everyone knows that. Around probably 70% of the stadium, they've already increased prices. My seats in Matthew Harding, which is like the cop end of Stamford Bridge, they're the only seats that I'm aware of that haven't been increased because they wanted to keep the fans on side. I mean, you can't increase the tickets after finishing. You didn't even finish in the top 10.
No,
come on. I mean, that's not good enough. So
it's a massive sort of like fuck you, two fingers up to the fans, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the same time, when you look at the money they're spending, you kind of justify it, don't you? You say to yourself, you're like, well, you know, they did just buy Palmer for 40 million. We did just spend 100 million on Fernandez and Mudryk and Caicedo. Oh my God, 3 of them. So you can justify it in that sense, but the way a lot of Chelsea, every Chelsea fan really is, look, don't worry about this bloody stadium. Stop worrying about facilities. Worry about what's on the pitch, right? Once that's done, then we can look at it and we can say, great, let's level up in the other areas of the club. But
that's what Vincent Kompany said. That's exactly what Vincent Kompany said when he took the bit on the job. He said to the chairman, look, the infrastructure of Turf Moor, keep it as it is. You know, everything within the stadium, yes, it's old, it's rugged, it's got that historic feel to it, and you want people to come in and think, ugh, it's like stepping back like 20, 30, 40 years. I'm probably being calm there, but it's like he thinks, same as what you've just pretty much said, that if the money speaks on the pitch, everything else takes care of itself. And I think, obviously, you know, and that's exactly what you're saying there, that if, yes, you've put the money into those players on the pitch that maybe over the next 2 to 3 years develop, you know, gel, become a real team unit, everything else then takes care of itself. And Ted Ball is literally probably going, you're right, I came in here, didn't have a clue, got a family member to sort out transfers, and now look where we are.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically looking at it as like a baseball team, right? Because Bowley already owns the Dodgers in America, and he also owns a stake in the Lakers as well, which is a basketball team. So the solution in American sports is just to throw money at it, and then it does work. I mean, that's proven. You buy the best pitchers, you get the best batsmen. It's a very simple game. Football is not simple. Like everyone knows this. You got to gel a team together. You could literally spend no money. You could be like Brighton and finish in a European spot. But we're not Brighton, and we were trying to copy what they're doing. So, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you look at some of the other owners we could have had, and they said, "Well, we wouldn't have changed this much." And at first, we're thinking, "Well, I'm glad we didn't get you, because you wouldn't have spent as much money, all of this and that." But in the short term, it would have been nice to have a bit of stability. But I will stand by this. I think that we'll have an okay season. I think that we'll get European football. At the beginning of the season, I was very confident we'd get Champions League football. And I'm still confident, to be honest with you, because I think with a manager like Pochettino, things might start off a bit rocky, but I don't think they end up that way. And even if you look at the Spurs job, right, when he finished there, this last season was shocking, but he didn't get a backing. And if he had, he would have been fine. And we're never going to have that issue. I can't see us not giving Poch what he wants, because it was such a rugged search for a manager. We turned down like 2 or 3 elite managers, or they turned us down. Like, there's a lot of debate about that. Yeah, man, I'm confident, but I'm also patient. And I think that if you're a Chelsea fan, you just need to accept that sometimes we're going to get absolutely smashed, and we might go away to Man City and lose 3-0 like we did last year. But ultimately, if we keep climbing up the table and keep retaining players and attracting players, we're going to get better, because it's such a young squad. It's impossible not to with a manager like Poch.
Yeah, I mean, turning that attention then from the chairman, I mean, your thoughts on Poch? I mean, I could have found one of him smiling, to be fair.
Yeah.
However, I wanted to get his face of I mean business. I mean, yeah, your thoughts on Poch even when he came in. What was your initial thoughts when it was confirmed to your thoughts now that you've seen the man in action?
So to rewind to last season when we had Potter, and pretty much everyone that was part of ChelseaFanTV, the majority of us, we really backed Potter to the end. Like, until the last game when he got sacked. I mean, that's when everyone said he's got to go. But until that point, I always had faith in Potter. And I still think, actually, looking back, it's not that Potter was a really bad manager. It's an impossible job last season with the big changes. I mean, it's not easy for a manager to come in and change things so quickly. But yeah, so I would have actually said, in fact, I did say we don't need Pochettino, and I would keep Potter, but he's gone now. And out of all of the managers we could have had, I think Poch is the best fix, because ultimately these owners are only going to spend so much before they do decide to hold back, because that's just the American way of doing things. They don't throw money at the problem without knowing they're going to get that money back. Like, why else would you get a consortium like Clearlake Capital, which is an investment fund? Why else would they invest into the club? So, like, I'm not stupid. I don't think Chelsea fans are stupid. They're putting a lot in, but they expect to get a lot out. And as far as I'm concerned, listen, if we get a great period out of it, I'm not going to be really unhappy if that's what they are trying to do, as long as we're successful, right? I mean,
anything's better than last season, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, look at Liverpool, right? I mean, their owners put nothing into the club, but they only complain when they're not playing well. Apart from that, they're like, yeah, sweet, we've got Klopp. We're still picking up trophies. And I think that we're a little bit different in the sense that we're throwing money at the problem now. But you look at us in 3-4 years, I can't see us doing that, to be honest with you. I think this is a very short-term fix. We're just trying to set a team up for the long term. And that's why we've got such long-term contracts. I mean, Enzo Fernandez is on like a 10-year deal, mate. I've never even heard of that. Wow. So, you can see what they're trying to do, get the young players, pin them down, and either get a great sale for them or keep them at the club for, a long period of time. But you can't criticize it because nobody else has done it, right? So we're basically, the football world is seeing an experiment, and we are an experiment. We're a very expensive one, but we've got some great people at the club, man. So I can't see it getting worse than it did. And to answer your question, I am happy with Poch as well. I think that he's a good player to gel it all together, even if it doesn't happen overnight. We've already seen in the space of 2 months what he can do with a player like Mudryk, giving him confidence. So if he can do that with a player like that, because I think Mudryk is probably the most challenging player in the squad to manage, then I think he can do it with anyone.
Definitely. I mean, what have you made of recruitment then? Obviously, I know someone said in the chat that Poch wants a little bit more of a say in the transfers, which, it's probably one of the perks of being a manager, that you bring the players in that you want. However, your player recruitment this year, what have you made of that? Because like you said, you have bought young, but you've not bought just young and thought, let's hope they develop. These are young players that have already got immense talent to be playing for a club like Chelsea.
Well, I'll be honest, I wouldn't really agree with that, because
No?
even if you look at Palmer, I mean, he was doing well at City, but you can't judge a player on like 6 months, can you? I mean, that doesn't really mean anything.
No.
And that's why I think that with players like Caicedo, I think we got done dirty. Caicedo is not proven. He's not really proven, is he? Declan Rice is proven at the top level for years and years. Caicedo had like 1-2 years. He wasn't even a midfielder half the time. He was a right back.
I said this about Caicedo, that he's a bit like there's a Heart United move, except with Zaha, he showed it consistently for season upon season at Palace, but then he was still very young and still had chance to maybe get better. United did it a few times with Nick Powell and other players like that, where they thought, oh, these players will come good, and they just nosedived. Yeah. But you get lucky sometimes, and there is the odd player that, like you say, it is his first season. He's going to come in. He's going to have to try and find his feet relatively quickly. But 1 or 2 good seasons, it can, boost your career. But also, you've got to make sure you make that right move. I mean, out of all the signings you've made in this summer window, who were, one, you most excited for, and 2, was the bargain for you as a Chelsea fan?
That was not thrown around. I think the bargain's probably an easy one. I think if I was to say one player that's a great value for me, I think Robert Sanchez is criminally underrated as a goalkeeper. Such a great player. I rave about this guy every week. I think his distribution is better than Ederson's. I think it's up there with Ederson's. I think that, okay, you are prone to making a mistake, but how can you look at mistakes this season without looking at the players that are around him as well and saying they contribute to those mistakes, right? Because ultimately, all of these players are new to working with each other, and the system is brand new as well. So I expect that. And we've had 1 or 2 games. We had one really bad game against Brighton. We actually won that game, but Sanchez was crap. I mean, he's rubbish. His distribution, couldn't make a single pass, but I still stood by it. Like, I've never seen a goalkeeper, except for Ederson, that can do what Sanchez does. The guy pings in goal kicks to Sterling on the opening day of the season when he's against Van Dijk, and the ball's directly on his chest. It's not even floating. It's just directly. It's just straight in.
Distribution, something else.
Oh, it's unbelievable, mate. So there's obviously a reason that De Zerbi got rid of him, and maybe that's because he can make mistakes, and they've already got a goalkeeper. I think it's Steele. Is that right?
And I think they signed Verstappen as well from Anderlecht, didn't they? Oh,
yeah.
Verbruggen actually, not Verstappen. I'm going all F1. But yeah, Bart Verbruggen.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm looking at Sanchez, and I think, well, he's already made the. I don't know if it was the Sky Sports Team of the Month or something like that. So he's not just doing well with his feet. He's making great saves as well. And in the games where we've struggled and we've lost, like against Villa, I mean, we could have easily lost that game 3-0 if it wasn't for his amazing saves. And I could say that for a lot of them. So we never saw that from Kepa. And the biggest thing I will say, oh my God, honestly, Dan, Chelsea fans get erect seeing a goalkeeper catching a ball, because Kepa could never do it. Oh my God. I never saw a goalkeeper catch a ball for 3 years, mate. 3 years under Kepa. And now Sanchez, he claims the ball. It's just brilliant. Honestly, the small things make a massive difference. So
yeah,
everyone talks about how good Kepa was last season. That's like saying Jordan Pickford's doing a good job, but you're playing for a crap team. So ultimately, if you did play for a good team, do you honestly think it would be any better? I don't think so, because you've got to be more focused. You've got to be more switched on. You can't make mistakes. Everything is scrutinized at the highest level. So Kepa's gone to Real Madrid, and they're saying Courtois was saying he's one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world. I don't know what goalkeepers you've been watching. He's rubbish. He's not even the top 5. He wasn't even the top 5 in the Prem. He's a terrible goalkeeper. So I don't miss Kepa. I hope Kepa never comes back. Look, the guy was professional for the most part, a good face to have in the dressing room, but ultimately he's not good enough for Chelsea. He's a mid-table goalkeeper at best. He's a Spurs goalkeeper at best. Yeah, good riddance to him, and really, really happy to have Sanchez for 25 mil.
No, fair shout, fair shout. One player I did want to mention, obviously ties to Burnley and the summer window itself, was obviously this man. He couldn't not speak to you about man like Ian. I mean, we wanted him. We were screaming out for a left back. From what we've heard is that at the beginning of the transfer window, it was a case of you put an offer in. If it's accepted, I'm there. But clearly, Poch saw something in him in America that thought, you know what, maybe we could utilize him here and see what we can get out of him. I think he's in the last year of his contract, isn't he? And they're still in dialogue regarding that. I mean, what did you make of Ian Maatsen so far this season, and whether you saw any of him in Claret and Blue last year? Obviously, do you think for you he's someone that could stay at Chelsea and progress? I mean, in terms of that left back position, do you think he'll actually get a start there as well?
I think he's a great player, and I don't know a single Chelsea fan who wanted him to leave. We would have been absolutely fuming if he left, especially because we sold Lewis Hall to Newcastle. That was a big factor as well. But funny enough, we don't see Maatsen at left back. He hasn't played one game as a left back for us. He's playing as a centre attacking mid or a right midfielder, and he's playing well. He's playing really well. He hit the post against Fulham. Almost got a really good goal. And with the limited chances he's had, I can't look at him and say, wow, you were great. But what you do want to see from players that come in is, can you contribute? Can you help the team, right? Can we trust you? Yeah. And I think he's a very trustworthy player, not just defensively, because he was a left back. I mean, you must be good defensively if you're a left back, especially if Burnley, you guys wanted to buy him again. But he's so good on the ball as well, and the guy can score goals. I've been a fan of this guy since he was playing for Coventry. He's been exceptional on every single pre-season tour he's played over the past couple of years for Chelsea. This isn't a brand new thing. I would have happily had Ian Maatsen at Chelsea last year. So I just think his time's come. He's certainly ready to step up, but it's where do you fit in? And I think this is what worries me a little bit, is that if we try and fit him in as a number 10 or a winger, I see his opportunities being limited because Sterling wants game time. Mudryk is playing very well. Palmer's been exceptional. And we've got to remember as well, Chukwuemeka and Nkunku are both injured, and they start. I promise you, they start for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So then I look at it and I say, well, where's Maatsen going to fit in? And if we're not trying to develop him as a left back now, I'm not sure if he's going to be starting ahead of Levi Colwill in the future when those other players are fit. So it is a bit of a kick in the teeth for him because Colwell's naturally more of a centre back, but that's what Poch wants to do. I mean, I'm not keen on it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think it really comes down to his game time. I think he's lucky that players are injured. I think it'd probably be even more limited if that was the case. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't sign a new contract, but I speak on behalf of most Chelsea fans when I say, we would like him to stay.
No, fair shout. Fair shout. It's nice to hear that as well, because like you say, it's so easy for, clubs like yourselves, City, we've got these like abundance of youngsters that, we've said it with Chelsea a few times. They've sent players out to that Vitesse Arnhem and, all over the shop. But we're talking about a player here who's, in the Dutch youth system. He's, a really talented player. And not just one of them, but he's been at Chelsea since he was about 6. He's been there for quite a while, hasn't he?
Long time, and he's developed into a great player. And it's not just the ability, right? I mean, you can see he's a good character. He's more than capable of playing in the Premier League. If it wasn't for Burnley, like I can think of probably 7 or 8 other teams that he would fit into in the league. He's not a one-dimensional player. He's so versatile.
No.
Any team would be lucky to have him in some way, shape, or form. Because, as I said before, he can defend as a left back. He can provide goals and assists, and he's just a young player. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? Ideally, I think if every manager could have a team of young, reliable players, they would. But the problem with youth is it's unpredictable a lot of the time. He's one of the few guys that you can look at and say, I know what I'm going to get from Ian Maatson. You know, I wouldn't be able to say the same about Ben Chilwell at the moment. I wouldn't be able to say the same about Mark Cucurella. So, you know, that's a massive praise in itself because, you know, we spent all this money on left backs. We've got a great left back in front of us, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be playing him there. It seems like he's going to be playing slightly higher up. And look, I hope he does well, mate. But you just don't know. Chelsea, I wouldn't be surprised if we got rid of him. But yeah.
No, fair shout. Johan says, where you been these days anyway? Mate, I've been hiding under a rock until we got our first 3 points. No, that's a joke, by the way. It's just been hard juggling life and this and a new job with long hours. But I'm going to try and, you know, find that pattern again and see if we can sort things out because I don't want this to just go dead. I want to, you know, make something of it. So don't worry, you will see this face for radio probably more than once this month. Right, let's get on to the main stuff then. The game this Saturday, like you say, you got your 2-0 win against Fulham. Perfect time for us to come up against just another team that hits form when they're about to play Burnley. Yeah, I mean, setup wise, how would you think this game's going to pan out?
So the game on Saturday, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I can't see you guys dominating possession.
No.
Although if Poch wants to go with more of a counter-attack inside, I'm not against that. That's just a smart thing to do against Burnley with players like Mudryk. You know, we've got a lot of pace in there. But that doesn't seem to be the way that he wants to set us up. So I think we're going to come all guns blazing. I think Broha will start. He got a goal against Fulham. I think Palmer and Gallagher will start again. I think all of the players up top will remain up top. I don't think there's going to be any changes there. And I'd be very, very surprised if Mudryk didn't get on the score sheet again, because I think Mudryk is a confidence player. The ability was there from the get-go. It's all about confidence and understanding. If he knows what to do against Burnley and he can do it, it's going to happen. The question is, will that happen? Because you're not gonna man mark us and sit back. You're going to give us lots of space. Ultimately, I don't see us losing the midfield battle. We're going to have Caicedo in there. We're going to have Fernandez. We've got some great players, man. Like, the confidence that I have going into this game is so refreshing, and it feels weird to talk to any other team in the Premier League and say, I just can't see us losing, to be honest with you. That's a great feeling. If I had to give a prediction, I'd probably say 3-0, maybe 3-1, but we've been good defensively as well. Once we get that first goal, Dan, you know, we didn't take our foot off the gas against Fulham, and I think they're a better side than Burnley at the moment. So I don't see you guys coming back from a goal down, but maybe nicking a late one, 3-1, best case. I mean, what do you think, mate?
I don't know. At Turf Moor, we always seem to give teams a good game. But again, I think even we were quite poor against Luton and we still managed to get 3 points. I think against Man City, we did well for a good period of time. But then it's just when you get caught, for me, we need to sort of... it's hard to say based off last season, because we're at that point now where we started to sort of turn our season in our favour. Now, don't get me wrong. We've probably been a bit naive this year. We're playing youngsters. There's certain players that I think Company trusted last year, but now we're just benched, which kind of annoys me a little bit. But I don't know. Burnley have always been this sort of club that turns up against the big boys. They always seem to grind a performance, or they'll nick a pot here, or they'll make it hard work. I mean, yes, we got beat by Manchester United, but again, I go back to that when Bruno Fernandes comes out and he's all of a sudden he's not even speaking about how well United played. He's talking about how well Burnley made it hard work and that Burnley played some good football. It's nice to see that as a fan, especially from a Burnley perspective.
Yeah,
you just don't expect. It's all well and good playing that good football, but that good football's got to get you results. And I don't know. I'm kind of going into this weekend thinking if it's pissing down, we might get a result. If it's not pissing down, then the sun's going to shine over London probably come 5 o'clock. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sort of quite open minded to it, but time will tell. Time will tell. But I've got a scenario for you here.
Oh, here we go.
It's that time of year. The weather's changing. Potter's come down with the shits, and he decides to give you a call and say, "Right, you're in the dugout at Turf Moor on Saturday.
Okay.
We want your choice, your starting 11 for that game."
Okay. Put me on the spot. Okay. All right. I am playing a 4-3. No, I'm playing a 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1 formation. I got Sanchez in goal. That's a no-brainer. Solid, great distribution, best save percentage in the Premier League at the moment. Now, Gusto, he was out against Fulham, but he'll be back for the Burnley game. So I'll have Gusto at right back. I'll have Disasi at centre back next to Thiago Silva. And then I've got Levi Colwell as a left back. Got an assist for Mudryk as well against Fulham. So
yeah,
he's not just defensively solid, he can create as well. And then sitting in the midfield, I think that's a no-brainer, to be honest. Caicedo and Fernandes, £200 million right there. You've got to put it somewhere. So there you go. And then the big debate for me was against Fulham, do we play Gallagher as a 10 again, or do we play Palmer there? But Gallagher was so good. I mean, you got to play him. I mean, how else are you going to do things? You got to reward players for good performances. He was our best player against Fulham. So Gallagher in the 10, Palmer on the right-hand side, Mudryk on the left, and then I'm playing Broja again. So pretty much an identical starting 11 to what we saw against Fulham. It's going to be free-flowing. There's a lot of creativity in there, a lot of pace, strength. But it's defensively sound as well. And even if we do make a mistake and you come with a chance, I'm confident that Sanchez will be able to, clear up other players' messes as well. So I think that the one area that you might feel confident is when you play against Silva. I don't think that he's as good as last season. He made a couple of mistakes already. So if you are going to pick on someone, it's going to be him. But Disasi's been great, and I think that's why we play Colwell on the left as well, to try and cover Silwell in case anything does go wrong. But yeah, very, very confident going into this one.
No, fair shout, mate. Fair shout. Massive thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. One thing I forgot to do at the beginning was tell you to give a shout out to your, plug your channels and your socials, tell people where they can find you and your stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to watch us on YouTube, it's just ChelseaFanTV. Can't miss us. And yeah, pretty much the same on every socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, ChelseaFanTV. And listen, hopefully the tough times are over. We're going to see another 3 points against Burnley. I know you're not going to enjoy me saying that, guys, but
Hey, time will tell. Time will tell. I'll laugh before sending a message on Saturday, and then I'll probably cry, and then it'll be a mix of emotions. But no, I'm sure it'll be a good game. If people do want to go and check out Alex's channel, then head to the description of this video, because we have got the link to the Twitter page, X, whatever you want to call it. Sounds wrong if I said we've got Alex's X's account below. Please do go check out the Twitter page. Also, the YouTube channel link is in there. So go check out those 2 socials, and I'm sure you'll find all the others if you want to frequent them. Again, thanks for coming on, mate. I look forward to chatting all things Burnley with you very, very shortly. But for now, people, whatever you do, in fact, no, I've not ended it there. I starred everybody's predictions and didn't say them. This is what happens when you have a month out. You completely forget what to do. I have gone and made a ballsy move. To be honest, being a Burnley channel, expect the unexpected. You just expect all these fans crying anyway, Alex. But Mr. Rodriguez has gone for a 1-0 Burnley with Lyle Foster getting on the score sheet. Mrs. B has gone for 2-1. Johan's gone big and gone for a 3-0 Burnley win. Probably more out of hope than expectation. But then says, we easy batter Chelsea, let's be fair.
Oh, my days.
I want whatever he's drinking, trust me. Mr. B has gone for 1-1. I mean, I would snap your hand off for that. But he says, yeah, it's going to be 3-0 Burnley. Ramsey, Shazza, and Foster. So, I mean, like I say, I couldn't really predict. I'd be happy for a point, but we will see how it goes. But for now, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really do appreciate the love and support. If you do want to carry on supporting us, as I say, we are going to get back into the swing of things. You can become a member of the channel for only 99p a month, and you get all those little perks in there, which I'm going to be sorting out over the next couple of days. So feel free to get yourself involved, and yeah, show your support to us. It really does help. Other than that, thank you again, Alex. Really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll speak all things Burnley very, very shortly. But until then, take care, everyone. Catch us on the socials, and we'll see you very soon. Up the Claret.